It's looking good. Come on, baby. Come on.
Is it rolling?
Oh, of course, my phone's ringing. Hold on. We are live. Good.
Facebook Live.
My phone. Hold on. All right. So we are. Let me see. I haven't even looked at you yet. Oh, there you are. Let me make sure we're good to go here. It's nice not to have the difficulty, huh? First shot Larry today. Right? No? Yes? Yes? No? No? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, talking to myself. All right, guys. So we're gonna try a little condensed version. Also, Pops. All right, let's just talk real quick. It's episode 90.
My age.
You think you'll feel comfortable coming in and sitting down next to me for episode 100?
It depends.
Depends. Can we
Yeah.
go get tested?
You watch the news, God.
I'll go get tested. I do not want to have an episode 100 without you right next to me. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I mean 100 episodes. 100? Come on. I see other people say episode 57 and they started their show like
3 days ago.
3 months ago. Okay, good luck, right? But this has actually been a great journey because I'll get updates like memories on Facebook on episode, let's say 50, and I could tell how much I weighed just by the episode and looking at myself in the face. So
Yeah.
it's a good
Unfortunately,
update. So
those
we're gonna keep
live episodes, the live episode showed more of our whole body. So I get updates when I was 252 or 253. So I go, the good news is I'm 40 pounds less. The bad news is, ay.
I'm about 25 to 30 pounds higher. So, but Zoom is good because it's not in my face, so I could just hide from here down. All right, let's jump in. So this is what I was thinking about, Pops. Even a presidential election can't slow down this market.
No, the market is phenomenal.
It's insane, right? And
our numbers are this week 45.16 in escrow. Wow. And
so
that's
I have the weekly numbers here from the MLS, and just the past rolling 7 days, over 1,317 have gone into escrow.
Yeah, it was a strong week.
And new listings, 859, back on the market, 283. So another, like, if you look at it this way, 13 something came off, went into escrow. And about when you talk about withdrawals and temporaries off the market, another 1,300 went back on the market. So we're replenishing, but barely.
Yeah, barely. We're staying pretty constant. I went through our listings this morning because I was up at 6 and I'm boring. And man, the ones not selling are when the seller, if sellers are listening, understand your realtor is your professional. We don't base the prices of homes on thin air. We base it on comps. And I see very outdated, I'll be kind, outdated homes with 15 paint colors throughout the house for the highest price ever asked for that home. No, price it according to the comps. Your realtor's expertise is pretty strong right now. Don't look at the Zestimate. Please don't look at that.
Well, even Angie's inventory is super low, and we had 3 on the books, and by the end of the day, we're probably going to have none. It took some adjustments, some price improvements, people like to call it, which I think.
What do you mean by have none? You're going to have 3 offers on her listings?
We already have 2 out of 3 in escrow.
Which one am I missing?
Red Rock will be probably in escrow by the end of the day.
Red Rock, and we were talking about it in our other meetings. It's all taste, but man, there's nothing like a lush lawn and mature landscaping, and not every model. There were like 16 to 18 versions of models with 3 different elevations. So it broke up the monotony of the neighborhood. And I always used to think that the key was a single-story community, but there's some prettiness to the variance of 2 to 1. I am very lucky because I have a 1-story on either side of me, which was a crazy requirement that I had when buying this home. I didn't want a 2-story looking down on me. I will say for a single-story community that yours is very pretty. And
Well,
I think because of the large sprawling lots and a lot of landscape, it has a very pretty look to it.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if that matters right now. It matters for a discerning buyer, discriminating buyer, right? I mean, you're going to definitely want those things in place. But the point of me saying that was, these are the last 3. I mean, we're replenishing our stock of listings, if you will. But these 3 are gone, and I definitely have seen the uptick in the past 7 days, and all I was reading an article yesterday saying that, and I'm going to keep this apolitical, but it's still good to talk about, that Wall Street is probably going to call the election before the election people, because like they have no patience, and Wall Street wants to know who wins based on the market. Well, they went deeper and said that for different reasons, but regardless who wins the presidency, and I'm trying to keep this as down the middle as possible, regardless of who wins the presidency, the economy is going to go in the right direction. They're saying if Trump wins, the tax cuts stay. They say if Biden wins, there'll be a stimulus that fuels the economy. Either way, like, there's one less thing to worry about. I know everyone's passionate about their person, but it's nice to feel like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Dad, I don't have the depth of the amount of elections you've been through.
When I voted yesterday, I realized I've been voting for 50 years.
But doesn't the economy usually chill out this close to an election? I mean,
It does. And I'm going to make one political statement. No matter, there's people on both sides, but no matter who wins November 3rd, let's say, or November 10th, let's just say this is our president, whoever it is, whoever it may be, and move on.
I agree with that.
Because the divisiveness, we all have a love, and everyone has a right to love the candidate you want. But when we find out, let's say this is our president, it's 4 years, and move on with the country healing and moving on. That's the only thing I'd like to say about the election.
Well, I always talk about in my trainings and coaching, submit and commit, commit and submit, right? And you could be committed to your political party, you could be committed to your candidate, but at the end of the day, you got to submit to the results, because you can only control what you can control, right? So, there are very real consequences depending upon your perspective and your frame and the life you live, right? But the reality is you gotta play the hand that's dealt to you. You can do whatever is in your power to change it and whatnot. There's only so much you can control, and then you gotta let go. You gotta let go, because and that's been like, it's like me golfing the other day.
Uh-oh.
I joke with my buddies that I should play like a 9-hole course before I even jump on the course, because it takes me 9 holes to submit to stop swinging 120 miles an hour. It takes me getting tired and stop fighting myself, right? So I like your point about that, like, just let go. So, but what do you
Whatever
think?
it is, you can't change it.
You can't change it. You can't change it. Go vote, donate to your political party, whatever you want. Like, you could commit, but then submit to the results. So let's go into the, we really don't look at weekly stats as much as we do monthly, but I am like obsessed lately with, I guess our buddy Don is doing a good job in my brain, because I'm really looking things instead of monthly through weekly now. And so these numbers are really interesting to look at them. Now, listen, you times them by 4 and they're pretty much our monthly our numbers. I know you pull them on a more
Every week.
macro level. You do them weekly,
Yeah.
but a little differently, right? Like you just show where we're at. It doesn't show what happened in the last 7 days. And it's just super interesting that they're all so positive. And the whole point of bringing those up is not that the 3 listings Angie have are bad. It's just that all of a sudden they're all gone like that. And what do you think? I mean, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but why all of a sudden this uptick? I mean, the rates are the same. Are people just
Rates are the same and going down a niche. I think people are searching to find what they want. And I think the reason it's growing is because we as realtors understand that the market is outrageous to buy because of interest rates. Sometimes people in their daily life, they don't realize the opportunity that is out there today. Henceforth, if you put a like buy at 2.5 versus 4.5 interest rate, you see if you pay a little extra because the median price is high right now, but you lock in an interest rate of 2.5 or 2.75 or 3, that is insanely low. You said, oh my God, if I'm renting right now, to be a renter, you got to be out of your mind. The only reason you should be renting right now is because you can't get a house with your financial means, whether bad credit or you don't have the money down. With these interest rates, it's insane to be paying rent when you could be owning. Like I spoke to my neighbor and one of my walkabouts, Dave, which you, and he rents because he's a manager, a GM of a hotel on the Strip. And he said, I said, I understand your rent, but do you realize this year you're giving up $36,000? He goes, it gets me sick. And he said, and I pay for all the landscaping, the maintenance. He said, in the end of the year, I am going to put 40 grand to rent. Now, Dave, what does he get back for that? Does he get a tax write-off? Appreciation?
Yeah, listen, the markets are set up to benefit you and to reward you for buying, right? The write-offs and whatnot. I hate to say I'm so bullish because I don't want to jinx it, but my bank is going to just give me 2.5 to rate and term my 4.5 loan. I mean, I'm not looking to buy a second home, or I am looking for rentals, but it's so tempting when the bank is like, I mean, one of our agent's clients has some significant funds, but with 20% down on like a $4 million house, I know this is big numbers,
That's
but they're
a big
still
number.
willing to give her 2.5 on about $3 million, even with like 800,000 down, which is insane. That it's
And
talking bigger.
Dave, everyone's coming to me with flipping. A few realtors have been calling me and saying, I want to flip. Then an agent said, wow, I'm showing a house in Summerlin for 330. And I said, and I looked at it and I said, when you show it, if your buyer wants it, write the contract in the car. He goes, what? I said, write the contract in the car, because she got a 2 3/4 loan.
Well, Dad, you could write it. You can do the DocuSign on your phone.
I know, but what I'm saying is I'm making a point. A day later, the house went into C status. Oh no, T. Why did they put it in temporary status? He had so many offers, he couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is there's opportunity, but I don't know if the outside world realizes what this interest rate means to us in paying that way. And that's why.
Let's go worst case scenario. let's say you lock in for 2.5 and you buy a house for, I don't know, 700 or $650,000. Let's just say 650, right?
Yeah.
And let's say the market continues on for the next 18 months and you see a 10% appreciation. Let's just say for shits and giggles, right? Because the market is, I believe it still hasn't even hit threshold. Like it's going to get insane soon. Like I believe like we haven't even
I
hit
agree.
the insanity where people are like,
No,
really?
it's not. It's not insane. The builders are still giving
Yeah.
closing costs, some free upgrades. The people listing their house, if they need carpets, they're taking a lesser price for a carpet
So
allowance.
it's not,
No, it's a normal, healthy market.
it's not exactly, it's not as, even though it's only a month and a half inventory, it's not the ugliest house on the street still getting multiple offers, which
Right.
may come, right?
That's
Especially,
insanity.
well, that's when people just have so much faith in the fact that it's going to appreciate. And it's an irrational, but I think that'll happen before it'll go down. So let's just say we get another 10%. But let's say then it bubbles out. Worst case, we'll just give worst case scenario. Let's say it bubbles out 20%. You lose the 10 on the rise, which who cares, right? That's BS money. And then you lose another 10%. That 650 house that you thought was now worth like 715, which is kind of fugazi money, funny money, because it's just fake equity, right? Now is worth, you like the fugazi?
I do.
The fugazi. Now it's worth less than, so let's say 65, less than 650, and now you're at 585, right? That's a 20% drop, right? You're still, if you put 20% down, you got 130 down, right? You got a 550 loan, and it's only worth 585 now. So you lost some equity, but you only have a 2.5% mortgage. So as long as you didn't lose your job, right, you still have runway, right? And it's a 20% drop, which for that to happen, it's a lot. It's almost end of the world stuff, right? It happened like twice in the last 100 years.
So I've been in 43 years, and the only thing I saw was a chart like this. Up, down, up, down. But whatever goes down, went back up. If we bought houses in 11, 12, and 13, when it was down, my presidency, we would have hundreds of thousands of equity right now.
People do, right? Especially Blackstone and Invitation Homes and all that, right?
Right.
So, and that's not taking into account, regardless of what the markets do, the 4 L's, which I will just beat like a dead horse. The 4 L's: not enough land, not enough labor, not enough lumber, and too many laws. That's going to keep demand outpacing supply. So not enough houses. So especially here in Las Vegas. So yeah, a lot of reasons to be bullish, a lot of reasons to jump in, which just adds to the frenzy, which is crazy. You know, it's just like, it's almost like you want to shut up. But
and you know what the interesting again, Dave, a lot of the buyers, you know, because we talk to our agents so much, they're not investors. They're not people buying for rentals, they're primary homes. That makes it more interesting to me, that everyone buying a house to get out of a rental. Mainly they're buying to come from California. I mean, like it, love it, hate it, 60% of our buyers are coming from California.
Yes. So, you know, my net migration is a real thing, right? So if we talk about this, if you're an investor or you're looking to play the real estate game, you definitely have to go in the opposite direction of where people are coming from. So eventually New York, Chicago, Southern California, Northern California are going to become good deals, at least compared to where they were at their heights.
Well,
right?
Even California now, everything I see on my Realtor.com app is price reduction, price reduction, price reduction. Where here, it's rare to see price reduction unless the house was drastically overpriced.
Not if you're looking in Orange County. That's a whole different segment, right? Orange County, San Diego is, whoo, right? It is. I look every day. Like,
yeah.
It's insane.
Well,
like,
beach. I think the beach communities are strong. I think the inner communities of San Diego County, for instance, I could see them leveling off. I'm not talking, you know what I mean? Like in from Carlsbad as you're driving in on those
Yeah,
hot.
it's but no, it's going outwards because even in Newport, you have Corona del Mar, super expensive. Newport, super
Oh,
expensive.
those are all beach cities, yeah.
But you go inland, it's Costa Mesa, and it
No, I
wasn't
don't mean
like
in
this.
the, I don't
But
mean
now,
in the like.
oh, you
Huh?
mean like Inland Empire? Got
Yes, yeah,
different game, different game. I always say if you're in Barstow or Victorville or Rancho Cucamonga, just keep going. It's worth. It's not if you're not if it's 105 degrees in California, you might as well be in Vegas. Like it
right.
just makes no sense.
And get all the tax breaks.
Like,
Hey, I got some good news.
go
Did
for it.
you see that 6 shows are opening in 2 weeks on the Strip? 6 of the shows are coming back.
I did see even a post about the airport looking pretty busy.
Yeah, that's nice news, right?
Listen, I don't want to go on a COVID conversation too much, but what happened to having your cake and eating it too? What happened to wear a mask, save lives, but also go enjoy your life too and go live? Like there's too much or
Right.
either stuck at home or licking toilet bowls, right? That's the way I call it. Like,
I love that looking toilet.
well, it's a very aggressive metaphor for people who are like live and let live, but then the
Right.
other people, it's like I gotta be in a body condom in my house, right? So there's a middle ground of and like I feel very comfortable, when I'm not around toilet liquors or I'm not around. Also, like I've played both sides of this game, and I think that's beautiful for perspective, a beautiful frame of mind. And I mean, really, that could help the whole society if you can say and I
Well,
like
I
these
went,
Democrats and I like these Republicans. Like, why does it have everything have to be or, right?
I went and voted yesterday and everyone had masks on and they weren't on top of you and everyone was cleaning machines. So it was a reasonable experience because I didn't have to freak out with someone coming and hugging me or the fact that they weren't being safe or clean. So you're right. There's
Yeah.
both.
Listen, before COVID, this
And they
restaurant,
gave me, Dave, they gave me barbecue potato chips as a prize.
so you'll eat the barbecue. Oh man. But
I
even
waited till
before,
I went home. I wiped the bag down and I ate it.
everyone's gonna risk their lives for different things. So you're gonna go for the barbecue potato
Me and
chips.
your wife for barbecue potato chips.
The irony is, even before COVID, like you go into a restaurant, maybe you didn't try. Like there's restaurants you'd be like, you'd be skeeved out, and you're like, I'm moving on. You know what I mean? So it's just listen, zig and zag, figure it out, and I love it. I love it. The baby is only 11 days old, but Angie and I are already planning trips for Cabo once the baby's old enough for my mother-in-law Peggy to watch her, and off to Cabo we go in January or February. I can't wait. Like I can't wait. Our anniversary is coming up in a couple of weeks. We're
10
going
years.
10 years.
10 years.
So we put off renewing our vows and that big party. We're going to do it next year, hopefully, and all this fun stuff we had planned. But we're still going to be at Mon Ami, where I proposed across the street at Bellagio, and like life can be and it really can, and I think you can have it all. So yeah, I'm super excited about the market, and this is a great opportunity to really refine your business, especially if you're a realtor or you're a business owner. Like a lot of lessons out of 2020. Like I just so firmly believe that 2020 is a gift of clarity and perspective, and you have to be willing to reframe the whole year. Like I'm excited about 2021 coming in, but you remember 2020, it was like 2020 vision, 2020 is going to be my bitch and my new decade. Like, and that was unrealistic. Like, that's not like 2021 is like, I'm really going to stick to what matters and I'm clear about my values. And it kind of segues into what I wanted to talk about. my father and I, after 2 years of trying to convince him, I think 2020 helped actually convince you to do this. We brought in a business consultant, right? And you know, I don't even want to say it's your run of the mill strategist or strategic planning or any of that. It's
No,
not.
it's not a Donna Carroll.
Oh, you break my balls for going low. That was some little push.
Oh, I always get
Uh,
my back.
well, anyway, no matter how much that me and my father speak hours a day, and then as much as we speak to Georgia and Jennifer and Danny and the leaders of our company, and we're very good communication, it's still a whole different game to spend that 6-8 hours to get aligned and really communicate and get on the same vision. And we did the exercise that everybody does, right? Around values. And when you're thinking about 2021 coming up, instead of your goals, like, have you had conversation with your values? Because your values really determine your goals. Would you agree on that? Like,
Yes.
and even more so, it determines even less than your goals, is how you're going to get to your goals, right? Because
If you get
if
to
my goals
to your goal with your head high, I'm in.
well, that's the thing. Like if I have to make money by stepping on people's throats, I don't want to make money. If I have to lose weight by not spending time with my family, I don't want to lose that weight. Like I want to do it, with integrity. And rolling into 2021, I'm just so grateful that we're actually doing this right before the beginning of the year. We came up with 3 of our core values, and they're no surprise, but I think it was a good exercise. So I would challenge the people who watch, like, have a conversation with your core values. Like think about this, because it's important, and I think people kind of get off track because they just aren't asking themselves enough questions. Right? They're not
You know what's and you're so right about core values. And you know what's really makes me realize that we are on the right path in our business. I get calls from the agents for different reasons, and I look forward to hearing from them because their core values are so similar, same as ours, that they'll call up and go, "Oh, an agent did this to me, and doesn't that seem so unethical?" And I go, "Absolutely, you're right on line." Rather than saying, "Can I charge this and get away with it?" which would make me cringe, our agents call about doing the right thing. So that's a great conversation. But when you say that, Dave, they may say, "What do you mean? What do you mean by that statement?"
Well, you mentioned one thing, and I always say this: you attract what you are. And when someone's out of alignment, it's pretty obvious. Like it sticks out like a sore thumb, right? People usually deselect, but you already said it. Like, it's all about communicating and just reminding yourself, like, am I making decisions aligned with what matters to me? We came up with the 3, and they're so simple, but I believe they say the number one thing is always with us is, do what's right, do the right thing. And I was talking to someone the other day, my buddy Jason, actually, and I said, for whatever like debates about where we're going to take Urban Nest or how we want to handle a situation that you and I would get into over the years, we're always aligned on that first value. And I think anyone who knows us, whether they respect us, like us, don't like us, I don't really care. But I think the number one value is that they know that we're fair and we do the right thing. And that's a long-term play. And that gets into that values collide. Not a value, but a desire is to make money, right? And there's a lot of times where if do the right thing isn't number one, if make money's number one and do the right thing's number 2, then make money's going to win, right?
Yeah, and bad behavior is going to win.
Exactly. So you could have core values that vie for the number 1 spot. That's why do the right thing.
You know, Dave, in this exercise, not to interrupt you, what was interesting is it was always Dave and Dave, but now it's Jen and Georgia, Dave and Dave. And when we were going through this exercise with Don, they said, wow, we have seen that, because they've been with us a few years now. And they said, we have seen that in our everyday lives, where they say, oh, Urban Nest, Dave and Dave, core value. I don't have to worry. I'd rather do a transaction with your company. I don't have to worry that Dave and Dave won't do the right thing. And they said, it's easier to hire, it's easier to get a deal accepted, and it's easier to deal with other brokers because they know that.
It's also a more fun, enjoyable way to live and do business. Like, it's all about permission. You know, no one gives you permission to, you know, it's all about kill or be killed and the Wolf of Wall Street, and, you know, you got to sell your soul to make money. No, but that's the purveying theme. Like,
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, the first permission I got of being successful and doing the right thing was through you. And then I started seeking out other people, books, and methods of how I can honor doing the right thing without feeling like I'm leaving so much money on the table. Because that's what it is, like, oh, you sucker, relationship-based business, doing the right thing. You know, it's business, it's not personal. One of my most
business is one of my favorite hate sayings.
One of my most watched Making Sense comments was when I was like, no, business is personal. If you're a scumbag in business, you're probably a scumbag personally. Like, you're not going to get, oh, well, he's a good dad, or no, it doesn't give you an out. So do the right thing was number one. Number two is do the work, and do the work. Like, listen, you cannot be afraid. You cannot be too good to roll your sleeves up and put in the work. Like, you're not going to be successful if you don't commit to the work. It's just not going to happen. And the last one, which was super important for us, which is actually part of our core focus, but was do more, become more, with that growth mindset, right? Like, become a better version of yourself. And that's the Urban Nest way, leave them better than we found them, leave them in a better place. So, I love sharing it with them, even talking to you about it. It feels so natural, but it's
so good.
Well, it's one thing walking the walk like we have, but it's a whole nother game of communicating the message correctly. There's a ton of great realtors out there that aren't sharing with the world because they don't want to brag, or they feel awkward of how much they take care of their people. They're not communicating that in a organized manner with a story around it. Like, and if they did that, they would win over the people who are just better at marketing, but don't have that alignment in those values. Does that make sense? So it's a permission game to just, like, two of my best buddies in the real estate game. I mean, I won't even say their names because they get embarrassed. They give back so much in volunteering and in charity, and they refuse to share it on Facebook, and they refuse to put any attention onto themselves because they don't want to make it about themselves. And I say to them all the time, you're doing everyone a disservice. People need to see you doing this and taking ownership of it in order for them to aspire to be like you and get permission to go do it as well. Right? So super impactful and powerful. And I would say, like, have the conversation, especially people having conversations about values right now when they're voting as well. Like, what means to them.
I think also conversations about value are coming up because of COVID, because we have to live our best life, because maybe this has made us think, what do we want to do with our life if and when it comes back to where we were? Do we want to live the same life we lived pre-COVID? Or do we want to travel more? Do we want to volunteer more? Or do we want to give back more? There's a whole new thought process that's going on in your brain. And even the people that were high and up, and they're getting COVID tired, like, it's a hard cross. And I just say we're coming, hopefully, I'm not going to say stupidly that where the curve is going down, because if you watch TV, it is.
Well, the deaths, I read 20, it used to be 25% of
20
people.
to 8. Yeah, I
Yeah,
read
that's
that too.
huge.
That's a great.
Yeah.
The cases are going up, but we're seeing that a handling of it, a vaccine coming, and let's hope by 2021 we could do more than we did this year. And fortunately for us, and lots of companies, we hear the drama story. Oh, Julie's, that went out of business, that restaurant, it was a great delicatessen. Well, guess what? We have companies that are making more money this year, restaurants, takeout, than they ever made before. So, plus and minus, I'm sure the supermarket chains have never made so much money in their life.
I love the fact that you just said delicatessen and supermarket in within a matter of 2 minutes. But the reality is this: like
And what are they?
you're the grocery store and the
Okay.
deli or the I don't know. But that's so New York. I love it. What I'm hearing, to paraphrase you, is you better be coming out of this with some clarity or you miss the point. And um, sometimes you're going through life just kind of half asleep and you need a shovel to be slapped into your face to wake up. Just wake up and to start seeing the world through different eyes. And unfortunately that happens through pain and uncomfortability. And a lot of people always say life is about expansion. And I hate that word because it just feels like, so capitalistic. And I'm more of a fan of growth. And you don't get growth without clarity. And that's what you're talking about. Like, who you come out of this is a different game. Like, I agree that I think that travel and texture of relationships and appreciation and gratitude are going to be on the rise if we play this right. America doesn't need more politicians. It needs personal development. It needs gratitude and love and perspective. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
and I
And
love.
we have it though, because if you look at your baby on the posts on your baby,
Yeah.
there was so much love sent out to you. So in comments and likes and loves, it showed that, and it was across the board, no matter what political, no matter how much money, those posts
Competitors
showed
of other companies, you name it. Yep.
that love is still there. And that's sort of what we have to look at after November. Let's go back to the love, working together. And that post cheered me. And someone even wrote, keep sending baby pictures because it brings me joy. And
Well, someone was asking me, and I was like, listen, it's not that you're gonna dislike someone who likes a different candidate as you. If you just dislike somebody and they happen to like a candidate different, you already just didn't get along with them. If someone you love and respect likes a different candidate than you, you're gonna figure it out because you can have conversations based in love and respect, and you can have honest, real conversations. So I don't think like it's the politics. I mean, it is a little bit, but I think it exposes the relationship that was already there in the first place. And if the relationship needed better communication, well, guess what? It needs it even more now, right? So, or if it needed to die, then it needs to die, and off you go. It's okay. Honor that too.
okay,
Open up space for different people in your life. So I love the conversation and I love the direction we're going. And I think even our relationship has expanded through this, which I didn't even think was possible for, where we are as father, son, how we are in the business, what you want to do, what I want to do. Like there's more alignment too. We took the opportunity to grow. I mean, seeing how Georgia, Danny and Jennifer and Bernadette and Denise and our teams rose up to the occasion and didn't leave us hanging, how we never stopped paying them. We kept them on the entire time. Like those are things like we can look back and say 2020 sucked, but we can be like, that's the year we became even deeper bond, right? That's the year that we committed. Like there's friends and clients and business owners of mine that are actually doing better this year, not because of the economy, because they got scared that they were going to lose their business. So they finally started paying attention to it. Isn't that amazing? How many
It's-
people have lost weight because they were scared of getting COVID? Like you, exactly. Like it's a different game. What, you're smiling? You like this conversation for once. I'm glad you've
I
chosen to
actually,
have it with
I
me.
actually lost weight to get healthy. It was before COVID.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to use it as an excuse, but I did have a pregnant wife who loves to eat, even though she only gained 25 pounds and
And
I
she's
gained,
about 8 pounds away from
and I
being her
gained
normal
18.
weight.
Exactly. And I was already fat to begin
Oh,
with.
you didn't get to deliver the baby, and she
I,
did.
I wish.
But in
I wish
fairness,
I-
in fairness to you, when your mom was pregnant with you, she gained 50, and I gained 25 with her. So
yeah.
you know,
All right. So I'm going to honor this commitment to cutting it a little bit shorter. And also, one last thing. You about ready to bring it back down to 10 or 9:30 like we used to? Like you ready to do that? I think that would be healthy too. We used to do it at 9. You remember that?
yeah. And a guest, I want to bring a mortgage broker on, one of our people, to see if the difference. I want illustrations for who's ever
No
watching.
problem. I'm sure Wes and Amy would love to do that. And that'd be great. All right, guys. Well, that's your Wednesday episode 90. We should all be so lucky to make it to the 90th episode of our life, right?
I will.
All right. Take care. Have a good day.
Bye.